John, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your patience in allowing this to happen. I've really looked forward to sitting down and talking.
Oh, thanks. I'm here with John Cena, Cushing Academy, class of 1995. So thank you again. What's your greatest memory of Cushing Academy?
I can't choose a first.
Okay.
I would love to tell you a few, and a lot of them have to do with failure.
Yeah.
I applied to Cushing to attend as a sophomore,
Okay.
and was rejected. But I didn't just get a no. I got a no because I had aspirations to attend Cushing, but I wasn't a good student. I had athletic potential, but I had not yet reached the sweet spot of where that could be defined. So admissions said, listen, you were obviously diligent in completing the admissions form, and you came here, and it seems like we can sense your passion. We would like you to take your grades from C's to A's, and we would like you to be a 2-sport varsity athlete next year. And then we will reconsider you. They didn't say they'd accept. They said they'd reconsider.
Okay.
So even while not attending Cushing and talking with the admissions department, I received clear goals and the motivation to achieve those goals. And in the year I did. And I had to redo the whole process, which is a bit of a process. Yeah. And upon redoing it, I think the admissions department could see that it wasn't just a flash in the pan of mine. I had achieved the goals they set a year ago. And I think doing that, they also looked at the type of human being I was. Okay, if I was given some direction, I could work hard to achieve a goal. It's something I really wanted to do. And they kind of sensed the passion and welcomed me into the Cushing family. You can't have a journey without the first step. Right. And my first step was one of failure. But I loved it because it wasn't just a no. Many times in life, we get a no and we don't ask enough questions. And Cushing Academy was kind enough to give me a no because, and then offer an alternative path to success. That absolutely stands out. Seeing campus for the first time was incredible. Seeing campus for the first time, knowing I was an enrolled student.
Yeah.
I also remember as a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old coming to Cushing the first time, the anxiety of me not wanting to go, me, spending 2 years trying to be accepted into this program, and then the wave of anxiety of I'm leaving my social connections behind. I come from a small town. It was 1,400 people. So it was not really diverse. Everybody kind of thought the same way. And my parents were big motivators in making sure that I made the journey, but I was apprehensive until the second I stepped on campus. And everyone was so welcoming, and everyone was so kind, and everyone was kind of going through the same thing. And man, did it make me feel at home immediately. Certainly my time spent in athletics at Cushing was great. I cannot stress enough our, I guess it was our drama teacher, Whit Wales.
Okay.
Kind of saw myself and a few other athletically focused students and convinced them to perform on stage in front of the student body. And that was the first time I had been offered a participation in an organized stage performance. And Whit Wales was very instrumental on saying like, hey, you seem to have this energy that captivates people. I think you should try performing and see if it's for you or not. Oh. And boy, was he right. So I could honestly speculate that the foundation of that performance and that ability was harnessed through Cushing Academy. Wow. And for that, I'm ever thankful.
That was powerful.
I could waste all the data you have in these cameras on memories of Cushing. Those are a few standouts.
Who had the biggest impact on you at Cushing?
Again, a very complex question. I think because the environment at Cushing is so intimate, it yields a whole lot of response. My roommate, TJ Norris, was incredibly impactful. Coach Sanborn, Coach Troy, Whit Wales, Lance Conrad, who was a teacher of European history, Mr. Dowling, Dean of Students. We had some very uncomfortable conversations that I'm truly grateful for to this day. Honestly, the list goes on and on. I think those are really impactful folks. But I think the most impactful thing for me was the environment. The environment to speak openly and freely, the environment to live as who you are and not be judged. Yeah. And I think everyone from administration to faculty to student body kind of operated on the same plane of we all want this environment to be the best we can, so we're going to be our best selves.
How did it feel to come back as a commencement speaker?
Man, it was awesome.
Yeah.
A tremendous honor. I got to see some local friends that we went to school with. I got to bring a best friend who I'm still best friends with to this day, Rob McIntyre, Cushing Academy alum.
Oh, great.
And we got to go back to campus. You know, I want to try to maybe orchestrate a new position of whatever the opposite of commencement is, to talk to maybe new students, because my message essentially in that speech was we spend so much of our time planning the goals, and it's such a pivotal time in your future as an individual. We very rarely absorb the now. And boy, do I look back on my Cushing years so fondly. And I was very present. When I graduated, I was voted ideal Cushing boy. And I think that's because, I don't know why it was, but I just lived and soaked in every single moment. I think because of my story, maybe in the back of my mind, I realized that I kind of shouldn't be here anyway. So I was very, very grateful for everything from being able to enjoy the dining hall. I came from a very poor family of 5 brothers where you kind of had to elbow each other for food. Just being able to eat comfortably, being able to embrace my talents, strengths, and gifts when it comes to education and athletic performance and even drama. So for some reason, I fell in love with the place. And my message to the students was, don't overlook what you've done here, because I know we all have where you're going after this on the horizon. That's essentially what a lot of people view. That's a lot of people's perspective on commencement. Just wanted to remind them of the connections they've made, to take a strong look at the campus, because it's an image that's burned in the back of my head, and you want to be able to appreciate that. I think everyone that attends Cushing, you know, it crafts who they are as a human, and they leave a little bit of who they are, you know, in the fabric of the campus. So I just wanted to make sure that they took a second to look around and enjoy.
Yeah. Well, convocation's the opposite of commencement, so
You're
welcome anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. That's something I'd really be interested in.
Oh, great.
And thanks for learning something new today.
Yeah. What about your experience at Cushing has made you who you are today?
So these aren't yes or no questions.
Yeah.
And they're great ones. Everything. I can't tell you. I went on to secondary education at Springfield College, and I cannot tell you how the environment at Cushing put me light years ahead of any student attending Springfield as a freshman.
Okay.
I felt as if I was a senior classman just because of the familiarity with being independent. Not only independent, being able to coexist with a diverse group of people. Cushing taught me to be okay with me. And because it's such a small population and so diverse, social cliques can and do form, but they're not isolated. You know, even from a small town public high school of about, 600 kids, social cliques formed and the walls were so high you couldn't see over them. And that is not the case at Cushing. So you got to meet this diverse group of people. And because you live there with everybody, you can't play a role. Like you can only, if you go to a public school setting, you can act from 8 in the morning to 2:30 at night. You can. At Cushing, you can't. Eventually, the true you comes out, and we all go through these vulnerable moments with each other, and we all lean on each other and trust each other and celebrate the wins and the setbacks. And I think that at such an early age absolutely forged me forward of be true to who you are, and like anything is possible. Because again, my story is not one of like, you're going here. It was like, maybe I'll try this and see where I land, and eventually landed at Cushing. So it was something I didn't think was attainable. And with that opportunity, that wasn't the finish line either. Cushing also taught me that each opportunity gives you a whole bunch more opportunities. And it helps me in the bravery of the choices I make today. So it's exponential in how it felt being who I am.
If you could pick one thing to tell someone about Cushing, what would it be?
That's a tough question because you're limiting me to one thing. Regardless of what anyone tells you your experience will be, it is far greater to experience that yourself. So let me change and say, this is my one thing. You will be a better person when you leave Cushing than when you arrived, period.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Thanks again for your time. I really appreciate it. Your insightful answers, and even the experience that you had so many years ago translates to what our students are doing today. It's nice to see the spirit of the Academy is carried forward. So thank you.
Great to hear and a wonderful conversation.